Hey everyone, welcome to Van Creations. Today we're going to be showing you how to fit a single offset swivel base to a Transporter T5. Right, okay, so today we're going to be fitting a single offset swivel seat, and we're going to be putting that base in. This particular van that's come to us, the customer already has a sub fitted underneath the single seat. So we're going to have to modify the base slightly. We're going to need to give ourselves good clearance on the top, because obviously that plate sits flush with the top of the base of the seat. And then once we've modified the base, we can fit that swivel plate. We're not going to show the modification of the base or anything like that, because we're not doing that today. We're just showing you how to fit a single swivel seat. So we'll put that on and we'll see how we go. Go to the van. Let's get this done. Okay, so here we are at the vehicle. We're outside today just because it's quite hot in the workshop and it'd just be nice to get out. So we've left it out here. I'm going to run through the bits and pieces, so I'll just swap over and show you where things are going. So you'll see on the swivel seat on this particular van that the bolts have been replaced. Somebody's been in here before. They've replaced the 2 bolts either side. We would always recommend using factory fittings. I wouldn't put aftermarket fittings in. If it was me, I'd definitely run with factory fittings, especially when it comes down to safety on the seats. You know, try not to replace anything on those. This one, as mentioned, has got a sub box underneath it. It's got a Vibe OptiSound Auto 8, and just for reference, they don't fit under the seat with a swivel base. They will without the swivel base. With the swivel base, they won't be able to without modification of the seat base a little bit, which is obviously labour intensive. With regards to this round here, you have the front nuts here, which have also been replaced on this vehicle. You can just about see them down there. These need to be undone, so you need to undo these front ones, undo the rear ones, and then we'll lift the seat off. $13mm nuts on this one, front and rear. 13mm bolts on the back. Ideal if you've got a 3/8 drive socket that you can get in there, and also a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is great for in the front because it's a low profile, especially on a flexi head. You can actually get in there and get the bolts off without having to foul on the seat base. With regards to the rear ones, again, use a 3/8 drive on those ones, with a deep socket, semi-deep, and that'll get you over the frame of the seat base, get you over the seat rails. Undo these back ones. Make sure you check before you lift the seat off. Make sure you check for any electrical connections underneath. The factory ones will probably have a connection to it. Aftermarket ones that have been replaced, a double seat has been replaced with a single, chances are it won't be plugged in. So just double check under there that you have got clearance and there's no plugs. Then remove the seat. Just lift it off at the front, lift it at the back. And then now your swivel seat base will go on. So the rib swivel, you just place that on top of there, place it on the studs at the front, make sure it's located at the back, pull the lever, careful not to trap your fingers in it, and just rotate that base round a little bit. You need that to be floating so you can actually access all the nuts and bolts all the way around for the fittings. You'll find it a lot easier when it's moving. Okay, so now we've got the swivel base on. You'll see that you've got a stud here, stud at the front over here, and then you'll have countersunk hole on each side. Fittings that you'll get with the swivel base are fittings similar to these. These are the actual fittings, so you'll have those. They're obviously a countersunk bolt, which will fit in these back ones here. Nylocks for the front, and the other ones are for on the seat base itself. So put those on there, put these ones on here. Normally talk to around 20 Newton meters, but always double check the spec. So now to fit the rear bolts in, just make sure you put those in place. Make sure you don't cross thread them. They're 5mm hex. Line those down where they need to go. Get the next one down. Again, you want to try and tighten these up. They're normally around 20 Newton meters. What I always do is trial fit it all first, and then I'll go get the torque wrench in a minute. Trial fit them all, make sure it's all in place, make sure it works correctly, everything's good, we've got good clearance, and then go and get the torque wrench and torque all these up. Okay, so that's the swivel base on as we need it, so that is literally how it's going to be bolted. These are classed as an offset swivel because the swivel is slightly offset towards the centre of the van. On a standard swivel base, you'd have the swivel straight in the middle. On these ones, they're slightly offset, so when you pull the lever and rotate the seat round, it moves the seat further to the centre of the van. It's not by much, but obviously it's enough to give you a little bit more clearance on the door card when you're coming round, and that makes it a lot easier to swivel the actual seat itself rather than fouling on the door card, the dash. It swivels nicely round to the centre, but obviously not pushing it too far over that you start interfering with the driver's side. So with the base now fitted, what we'll do is we'll get the seat, put the seat on, countersunk bolts in the front to give us clearance on those front studs, and standard nut and bolt on the back here. Again, that all comes in the kit from RIB when you buy it, and you'll have those bolts included. Okay, well the swivel base is in, so now we're going to lift the seat back in. Let's get the seat on top of it, see how we're going. What you can find on a lot of these swivel bases is the lever here can foul on the plastic. Your choices are either you cut the plastic out a little bit, or you don't lower the seat fully down on its adjustment. So you can adjust the seat up and down, but just not fully down, where it will bulge this plastic and cause it to foul on that lever. Right then, once you've got your first bolt in, the first one at the front, I've done the front left on this one, just move your chair slightly further forward, swivel the base round. It'll give you a lot more room to be able to access these front bolts, and then you're not fighting with the front of the cab all the time. You can literally get straight in there, get in amongst it, and get the other bolts in. You'll need to pull your lever to slide the chair back on the runners, get them lined up, make sure they're both identical and free to move back and forth. Then get your, again, your countersunk bolt straight through the bottom there. Pull the lever to make sure the seat is aligned. You will need it aligned and get that nut into place. On top of it, it's got a nylock on it, so shouldn't shake free at all. Always use the factory or the fittings that come with the swivel base. Mil spanner on there, 5mm hex. Two front ones done. Swivel that back round, pull it forward slightly, swivel it back round. Check that the rear ones are aligned. If they're not, pull on the lever and then just adjust those as they need to be. If you find yourself stuck and you don't have the fittings that come with it for some reason, or you haven't got the factory fittings to go in, just make sure that if you are using something else, use something that's of the same strength value. Don't use cheap fittings of 4.8 tensile or anything like that. You know, make sure it is an 8.8. Replace it like for like if you have to. But that's in an emergency situation if you have to. And we'll just put these fittings in here. Put the nut on, making sure that you're putting the nylock on. Again, being a seat, you don't want to come in loose. Tightened up. There. The other side tightened up. Okay, so that's the swivel base fitted. With these swivel bases, the best way to rotate them is to pull the chair forward, especially captain's chairs that have the armrests on either side. Those obviously make the chair wider. They got more chance of fouling on a door card or on the trim on the side, on the pillar trim. So you're better off pulling that forward. You'll work out how far it needs to come forward, you know, through time of using it. But you just pull the seat forward on its runners, then rotate. So pull the seat forward, give you clearance on the B pillar, push the lever forward, and then rotate the seat. Once that lever's off, the seat will freely rotate all the way around. You may need to just pull this just to give you an idea, and just move the seat, and that will just rotate freely round to where it needs to go, to facing backwards. And then once it's in its rearward position, pull the lever and go back. That means you've got that seat in the rearward position that can freely sit there, and then when you want to rotate it round, bring the seat forward or backwards, but forward in general, and then you'll rotate it around. You need to bring it far enough forward that you've got clearance all the way round, but not fouling on the handbrake over there. So you may need to adjust the seat whilst it's on its way round. When it gets to that point, it's just a simple click, and then that is now into position. That's now secure on its swivel base, and then you can slide the seat back to where you need it. It does raise the seat height slightly. It's about 25 to 30 mil. So really you need to just sort of check that you're happy with that seat height being slightly increased. Obviously, being a single seat, it does have the adjustment, so you are able to lower that down with the handle on the side and drop that seat back down. But just bear in mind that you've got the bit on the side which we were on about fouling on there, you don't really want to be lowering it right down and then it fouling on the side. You can obviously cut that out if you want to cut the plastics. So you can cut a hole here or slots, which will give you that clearance of dropping it down. You just got to remember that when you want to swivel it, you'll need to lift the seat and then swivel and then drop back down. Otherwise you end up catching the plastics on it again. Okay, so that's the swivel base fitted on that van. Fairly straightforward, quite an easy thing to do really. Allow yourself about 30 minutes to do it. May take a little bit longer if you're going to start doing seat trimming and bits, you know, if you're going to trim the plastics on the seat and that. Fairly simple, you just need a 13mm socket or spanner, and that's pretty much it really on it. And yeah, you know, pretty straightforward. I mean, if we're going to be doing a few more videos, instructional videos and that, if there's anything that you want to see us do, anything that you can think of, just let us know in the comments below and we'll try and do that as and when they come into the workshop. If you want to see more videos like this and ones that of different things that we're doing, from pop tops, sidebars, wheels, suspension, lowering, all things like that, then just subscribe below, and as they come up, hopefully you get to see all the videos that we're going to be doing. So we'll do as many as we can, but only when we've got enough time to do the videos. Sometimes we're a busy workshop and only a small team, so it can be a little bit difficult to get the filming done as well. But yeah, hopefully see you in the next one.